So in this video, I want to talk about my top 4 favourite guitarists, my biggest influences over the last few months. We're not looking at guitarists like Jimi Hendrix or Eric Clapton. We're not looking at guitarists who shred the blues. We're talking about the more unsung guitar heroes, but ones that definitely have a great name for themselves in certain circles. We're looking at players who highlight chord changes, play with tons of great character, and play with an amazing sense of musicality. And these players have all helped me develop my playing in leaps and bounds since I discovered them, and I thought I would share them with you guys. So this happens every so often, especially on rainy, miserable days in February as we have today. It's just a good time to sit back with the guitar, maybe peruse YouTube and try and get inspired and try and find some fresh ideas that we can implement into our own playing. And one of my favourite guitarists who has done this recently is a guitarist called Tobias Hoffmann. So I first came across Tobias's playing when I stumbled across a channel on YouTube that did vintage guitar reviews, and I was just immediately blown away by his really tasteful, really melodic, and really kind of harmonically complex yet incredibly musical guitar playing. There's a load of videos out there and they all have a slightly different flavour, but what I've immediately kind of resonated with in terms of his playing is how he kind of outlines chord changes and how he kind of meanders his way through the chords in a really nice, seamlessly unaccompanied way. It's definitely been a feature of my playing over the last 18 months or so, is I've definitely wanted to be more kind of cognizant of the changes in music and trying to highlight those as best as I can, because I feel like there's a lot of music within that type of playing. Just hitting those right notes and kind of bridging gaps between chords is something that I'm just very into these days. And he is somebody that has kind of forged the way for me to really get into that style of playing. So if that's something that you're working on, he's definitely a player that you should check out. He probably has some records out there. There's not a ton of stuff on Tobias out there on YouTube or on Spotify, but if you do some digging, and if you certainly subscribe to that channel, then you're in for a treat. The next guitar player is somebody that you've probably mentioned. I know Rhett Scholl did a video about him a few months ago, but that is Adam Levy. Now, there's a lot of records that Adam Levy has played on that have been seminal records for me. Norah Jones's Come Away With Me is definitely one of my favourite albums, and there's definitely guitar solos on there that even years ago, before I even knew about Adam Levy, I was trying to replicate and mimic and really try to understand why they sounded so musical and so melodic. And another record that made a big impression on me was Amos Lee's song In the Arms of a Woman, which again is just a really beautiful ballad. I love Amos Lee, his voice, his songwriting, just right up my street. And again, I discovered that Adam Levy played the guitar on that song. So it's fair to say that my taste in music perfectly lends itself to his guitar playing. The thing I love about Adam is that he plays, again, outlining those changes so beautifully. His lines are often sometimes simple, but they just kind of hit all the right intervals, they hit all the right notes within those chords and in the progressions that he plays over. But he also plays with great character, as I'll show in this clip now. Again, it's kind of playing off of that sort of blues idea, but just really highlighting those chord changes, but adding some really nice flair. You know, there's a lot of staccato, there's some nice bends, there's nice use of tension in release, and that's just a really big component of Adam's playing, and just something that I've always really admired. So if you're just looking for somebody who has great character, great feel, great touch, but can definitely put out a melodic solo here and there, then Adam is somebody that you should definitely check out. Now, the next guitar player is arguably one of my favorites, and that is Duke Levine. Now, Duke Levine is a session guitarist, but he's done a ton of records under his own name. The Fade Out, iconically, is probably the one that resonates with me the most, just because that's the first album that I came across that featured his playing. It's completely instrumental, very Americana, very country influenced, and that's the thing about Duke that I love, is that he incorporates some really nice kind of country pedal steel type bends, type phrases in his playing, but because he's an instrumental player, his sense of melody and his sense of sort of time feel is just brilliant. You know, he's not a singer, but his guitar mimics a singer so well. Currently playing with Bonnie Raitt and has done a ton of great session work over the years. He's definitely somebody that is in demand in certain circles, and again, he's just a player that has his own character, who has his own sort of, you know, his own voice on the guitar. And if you love tellies, if you love Americana, if you love country, then Duke's playing is going to be right up there for you. And go and check out his EP, Left to My Own Devices, which is just him and a guitar. It's just, yeah, it's just brilliant. And finally, we have Uncle Larry, Tom Bukovac, YouTube and Nashville's favourite guitar player. Now, if you aren't familiar with Tom Bukovac, the thing that I love most about Tom is the fact that he is kind of a musical chameleon, really. There's nothing that he can't play, and because he's probably the most in-demand session guitarist in the world, that would kind of explain why, because he's just in so many different musical situations all the time. But the thing specifically that I really focus on when I listen to Tom's playing is the fact that he kind of always takes chances in his approach. You know, he definitely has his own voice on the guitar, no question about it. There's just tons of great character, whether that is just kind of like really exaggerated bends or approaching notes from, you know, unusual intervals, but just always with musicality and feel at the sort of forefront. And I think for me personally, as somebody who was trying to learn how to kind of play over changes, but also when I was writing my own music, you know, at the end of last year, and I put together that instrumental EP, I was really trying to get sort of my chord vocabulary expanded, for lack of a better term. You know, I just wanted to learn more chords, I wanted to learn more interesting chords, and Tom is the master of that. You know, his approach to just chords is second to none. He just comes up with so many great, beautiful sounding chords, and he weaves them together in weird and wonderful ways, and I just find that endlessly inspiring. So if you're bored of a 1-4-5, or you're trying to look for some more interesting chord progressions, then I definitely recommend that you go and check out Tom Bukovac's homeschooling channel here on YouTube. It's just a goldmine of inspiration. He's a great character, you know, he's great on camera, his production quality is minimal, but the guitar playing is stellar and next level. So, you know, if he can make an iPhone recording sound that good, then, you know, he deserves a place on this list. So yeah, there's a brief look at 4 guitar players, and I know I said that they were going to be more unsung guitar heroes, but people like Tom Bukovac, people like Adam Levy, you know, they are superstars in their own right. I don't mean that to be disparaging to any of the players mentioned today. They are all fantastic in their own way, but, you know, they're not selling out arenas in their own name like people like John Mayer or Eric Clapton. So in that respect, they go a little bit under the radar, but I think they should definitely be at the forefront of your mind when you're looking for inspiration and really inspiring guitar players to take some, you know, take some licks, some phrases, maybe some chords from. So I hope you found this video helpful. I hope you got some more guitar players to go and check out, and let me know in the comments below which of the 4 guitar players I mentioned you enjoy the most, and if you have some influences that you've been really enjoying recently, leave them down in the comments below so we can all get inspired and add some more names to our Spotify playlist or our casual YouTube viewing whenever we're looking for some guitar videos. As always guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, make sure you hit subscribe and ring the bell so you get notified of when new videos go live, which is every week. So until next week, enjoy picking up the guitar. I hope you have a great week playing, and I will see you all in the next video.